Top of the day to you, everybody. Welcome to our show for another Tuesday. It's Irish Day, don't you know? St. Paddy's Day must be just around the corner. I don't know where this is coming from. I was trying to talk an Australian accent, but an Irish one came out. What do you think about that, Ed?
Well, you know, I don't know what to say.
Man,
if I could understand you, I could tell you what I think.
I can't understand.
Everything's fine.
Happy Tuesday. War in China imminent. What do you think? The Chinese are going to take that shit, or they're going to go in there and start shooting people? That's what they're going to do. That's what they always do.
We have Argentina, the currency in Argentina.
Do you say aluminium as well?
Yeah, Argentina.
Argentina.
Where is Argentina? I don't know. Around Atlantis, I think. At the end of the day, we've got lots of macro things happening. Macaroni things. No, the Argentine currency
is on the brink of its 50 faults in the last 100 years.
Once again.
Well, what's this?
I called it. I said the last one wasn't the last one.
Argentina's going to stiff everybody again.
Wow.
That's a big shock there, eh?
Whoa, boy.
Yeah.
Woo.
And how
Tell
about
me something I don't know.
Yeah, how about this bullshit coming out of the Fed? Donald Trump's decided to back down on his tariffs suddenly. Or at least that's the plan. And what happens? The market goes wild. Yeah. Everybody rush in and buy. Go long the S&P because Donald Trump has changed his mind, which he's never going to do again. Just go long the S&P. Sell all the gold. Yeah. Have you ever seen such a manipulated bunch of bullshit in your life? I mean, the funny thing is that these guys think that they're getting away with it. They're thinking that the whole world is buying this hook, line, and sinker. What do you think? Okay, enough about what you think. More about what I think.
At the end of the day, okay.
Yes. Which it almost is.
You can't print forever. Then that's what they've done. And eventually, and you know, they keep kicking the can down the road because they find these new magic weapons to deal with this.
Well, mathematical conjugations.
Chicanery.
Mathematical
chicaneries.
Convolutions.
You know what? Look. Sooner or later, the chickens will come home to roost, and maybe gold. Gold got smoked on the contra move with.
Bullshit, man. Bullshit.
No, I'm just saying.
That's the U.S. dollar interest blowing out a bunch of paper gold that doesn't exist just to create that steep cliff to make everybody go, no, it's reversing. Oh my God, we're safe again.
Listen, all I'm saying is gold did swing about $60 an ounce today.
$60 an ounce.
Yeah.
You know what that means? I don't care which direction it's going. If you're getting $60 volatility intraday on the same market, that is the sign of a very, very, very volatile and probably very bullish market coming for both gold, silver, and perhaps followed by copper as a safe haven asset, as opposed to an industrial input. I know. Copper is related to industry, therefore it doesn't. But historically, the market always goes gold first, silver, platinum, palladium, followed by copper, nickel, blah, 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 blah,
Look.
blah.
Copper jumped dramatically, as did oil, when the market took off and gold fell. I'm just saying.
All right.
All right. There's no opinion there.
No.
I still believe gold's going a lot higher because I think they got to keep printing. They have to keep rates artificially low and even destroy all their banks.
You know what's
which they're doing
today on
systematically.
I agree.
I agree, Condat.
Today on our show, we have quite an interesting little lineup for you. It's news with news nurse Fraser Toms. I know, gentlemen, put it back in your pants. But Tristar Gold Inc.
I had a great interview with them. Nick Appleyard, all the way from Australia, lives in Arizona, mines gold in Brazil. Yeah.
Brazil.
And this is a mining jurisdiction, and I'm just going to throw a little bit of information out there. Frank Holmes is the largest shareholder of this company.
Frank Holmes for U.S. Global Investors.
He's the largest. And he mentioned that a couple times. Plus a couple institutions. Plus the Cadillac royalty company, Royal Gold. Royal Gold.
Yeah.
Royal Gold just funded them.
You had me through me when you said
their Cadillac.
The Cadillac of
I got cataracts. I got cataracts. I need an operation. No.
Do you really?
No. But my friend does.
Oh.
Anyway, this is going into production. This one.
Oh shit.
This one's going into production.
Huh.
Anyway, Enough said.
Well, so that's just the beginning of what's about to happen here today. That's all I have to say to you. Let's take a quick look at our Midas Letter indexes. Actually, you know what? No. Let's have the news with News Nurse Fraser Toms.
Okay.
Stay classy, Toronto. Here's your news for today. Halo Labs announced its financial and operational results for the second quarter, the period ended June 30th, 2019. The California market continues to be a significant growth factor for Halo, as revenues in Q2 totaled $9.55 million USD. This represents a 356% increase over Q2 2018 and a 10% increase quarter over quarter in comparison to Q1 2019. Revenues for the 6-month period were $18.27 million US dollars, a 329% increase year over year. The company's comprehensive net loss was $3.9 million or 2 cents per share basic and diluted. Village Farms International announced its financial results for the second quarter and 6-month period ended June 30th, 2019. Net income before tax improved to $9.9 million US and includes the contribution of positive net income from Pure Sun Farms Corp. of $14 million USD based on its Village Farms 50% ownership. Produce sales were $41.3 million US and earnings per share improved to 20 cents a share from a loss per share of 5 cents previously. MediPharm Labs announced its financial results for the 3 and 6 months ended June 30th, 2019. Revenue was $31.5 million, a 43% increase over Q1 2019. Net income before tax was $4.1 million compared to a net loss of $0.3 million in Q1 2019. The Supreme Cannabis Company announced its expected revenue for the fiscal fourth quarter ended June 30th, 2019. Supreme anticipates net revenue of approximately $19 million and positive adjusted EBITDA for Q4 2019. Supreme Cannabis expects to release the company's audited fourth quarter and annual results on September 17th of this year. MedMen Enterprises announced unaudited system-wide revenue figures for the fiscal fourth quarter 2019, which ended on June 29th of this year. Pro forma fourth quarter system-wide revenue, including pending acquisitions of $61 million US, representing an annualized run rate of approximately $245 million USD. The company plans to announce financial results for fiscal 2019 after market close on October 28th of this year. Green Thumb Industries announced it will open its 5th retail location in Florida. The store is called Rise and it opened in Hallandale Beach today. It is GTI's 28th retail location in the country and the first cannabis store in Hallandale Beach. Cresco Labs announced that its euro-denominated shares are now listed on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange and are trading under the symbol 6CQ. The Frankfurt Stock Exchange is the largest exchange in Germany and one of the largest markets for trading equity securities in the world. Lexaria Bioscience announced that its subsidiary Lexaria CanPharm has been issued a cannabis research and development license by Health Canada with a 4-year term. Lexaria's new cannabis R&D license will allow the company to conduct extensive investigatory work in both THC and CBD delivery. And that's your news for today. And for more, make sure to go to MidasLetter.com and click on Cannabis Daily.
Our sponsor, Halo Labs, knocks it out of the park on revenue. $18 million, up 300% plus over last year. My God, that's spectacular!
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Yeah. Next objective, profitability. That's coming next, I'm sure.
And they've got arrows in their quiver. Like there's different revenue streams.
They have a lot of arrows in their quiver.
Yeah, that's what I like about this company. They're not relying on one stream.
Yes.
If a fisherman just goes to one stream and it's not a good stream, catches no fish.
He's got no other stream in his quiver?
And maybe the Bank of Europe's got the same problem.
He's going to have to empty out his shotgun.
Woo-hoo. Woo. Okay.
The banks. Yeah, so apparently Halo Labs, our sponsor, is driving the entire marketplace. The large cap index I'm looking at here on my NDI is up.
Yeah, I wonder, did something...
3.58%.
Something happening here?
The small cap index is up 4.4%.
That little channel looks to be, there seems to be an adjustment coming there at the end. I mean, and I haven't really seen it yet, but you know how you can draw a channel?
You got to ask yourself, what sector-wide catalyst could you possibly attribute an entire industry's bumped to the upside by 5% too.
The big one is legal marijuana in the U.S. The second one would be.
Did they announce that? Has marijuana been legalized in the U.S.
No,
federally?
because if we knew, then it wouldn't matter.
Well, you mean then it would already be priced in?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe this is the pricing in of U.S. legislation coming down the pike.
Tilray at
never know.
2:35. News out tonight on results.
Tilray financials annual?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
Really?
No, I don't know.
You had a sneak
quarterly
peek?
results coming out tonight.
Quarterly results.
Right after the market. Let's see what happens. Remember once we were doing this a few quarters ago and we said, "Hey, look at this action."
Yeah.
After the market.
Yeah.
Because they beat, and that was what precipitated the
Sector-wide catalyst.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. If, like, MedMen's quarter is pro forma, but they're saying that that's putting them on track for $245 million run rate for the year. That's no small accomplishment.
That's no small potatoes.
That's no small potatoes. What I'd be interested to see from MedMen is store-in-store growth, revenue per user, and what kind of, I'd be interested to see how sticky are their customers. Because here's the thing, in the cannabis space as it's just emerging, it's not really a good snapshot because people are trying everything. Okay, I went to MedMen my first few times in Los Angeles when I went there after. And now I don't go to MedMen anymore because I prefer to try the unaffiliated or independent pharmacies, not pharmacies, dispensaries, not the ones that are black market, but the ones that are licensed but independent, not part of a chain. I went to Urban Leaf in San Diego not so long ago. That owner told me he was doing $48 million net for 2018. Which I thought was really interesting. He said it was doing 50% dried flower, 15% extracts, and the rest split up amongst edibles, infused beverages, tinctures, creams, etc. But I thought that was pretty interesting that still 50% of the dried flower, or 50% of the revenue at the biggest dispensary in San Diego was still premium dried flower. Meaning that obviously Southern California is the headquarters for the premium dried flower connoisseur. Not necessarily that's going to be the reflection across all the other dispensaries.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you think, I mean, you know tons more about this topic, but the Americans have got an advantage on the advertising and the branding and all that because we've
got our fingers up our asses as per usual, Canadians, when it comes to advertising. Handcuffed, that's a good word.
Yeah.
Handcuffed with their fingers.
The guys are trying to put things in the package and they're handcuffed.
Oh.
Much like the dinosaur arms that I see you with most of the time.
What?
Oh, no, that's me. That's me.
Kidding? Okay. I have the opposite. I have like Rubberman.
Curaleaf. I got the chart of Curaleaf up here. Look at this thing. It's up over 10% today.
10%?
It's up 10%, and I'm just gonna. Yeah. I can do this. Yeah, I got the technology. Yeah. No, I don't. I don't know. How many? Okay, here we go.
Control room ran out of patience with
Look at this. If that bottom holds here, slightly higher than this one. Yeah. We've had a nice double bottom. This thing looks like something seems to be these things have been lighted up.
Lit up.
Lit up.
They're lit up.
What's the past stuff?
Ed on punctuation, grammar, and spelling.
Okay. So yeah, I like some of the action on some of these big ones.
Yeah, Village Farms in particular. Now, show me a chart of Village Farms. Village Farms came out with some pretty serious revenue. They call it produce sales were $41.3 million. Now, when they
what's
say
the ticker again?
sales,
Village?
VFF on the TSX.
VFF.
Victor
CNX. Here we go.
Victor Franny.
It's not VFF.
It's VFF.
On the CNX?
No, on the TSX, I said.
Jesus. You're okay.
Net income improved to positive $9.9 million.
Wow.
So here's the thing.
Wow. There's one that's near its all-time high.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I don't like today's candle.
No?
Just on that, the fact that it gapped along the open and now it's near the lows. I don't like that action.
No, eh? Why? What is it that you don't like?
Well, you'd like to see green candles in an uptrend. When you start to see a red candle after a prolonged or several green candles, like we saw right here. Yeah.
That
I'm not. Look, it happens. You're going to have red ones. You're going to have green ones, but the trend is still intact. So I'm going to stay. Something seems to be running these things here.
The big winner in the cannabis space today is definitely the Midas Letter CSE index, which is up 5.8%, led by MedMen. MedMen warrants jumped 23.53% to close.
Yeah.
They're still trading at 42 cents this hour. But look at all these. Look at there's Isodial, still wallowing down there.
But 6 cents on 43. That was a big play. That was a big runner back in the day.
Yeah. But some of the bigger movers, Cureleaf up 11.55% to 966. MedMen up 11.25% to 267.
Boy, the shorts are probably thinking, if I didn't cover yesterday, what was I waiting for?
Yeah.
Because
might be a
and
good
now
day.
and now they're thinking, well, I'll wait till it comes back, but then it doesn't come back.
Right.
And then they're caught, and then you just wait until you see that last spike up, and then you sell.
Yeah.
Or not.
Or
Not.
or not. Acreage Holdings even added 8% today, up $1 to $12.38. True Leaf Cannabis up 8.74%. Did somebody in a position of power make some statement about legalizing cannabis in the United States?
Something's changed here. I say. I say.
You say. I say.
I say yes.
You say no. Okay, so we had an episode. Ed had an episode today where he spoke to the president and CEO of Tristar Gold, Nick Appleyard. Here's that conversation.
Joining me in the studio now is Nick Appleyard, President and CEO of Tristar Gold.
Yep, thanks for having me today.
Welcome, Nick. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Yeah, great today.
Yeah, so you're from Australia, you live in Arizona,
Yep.
and you're mining in Brazil.
Absolutely.
This is an international operation.
That's our industry for us these days, I think.
Yeah, and the last 2 or 3 months, gold has got caught a bid.
Absolutely, and I think it was, the price was always okay, but the market seems to be now, gold's taken off, and there seems to be some money flowing in as well, which really helps us these days.
And you just recently completed a financing.
Absolutely, yeah. Last week we closed a deal where we sold a 1.5% royalty to Royal Gold for total funds of $8.8 million US. So.
And that's their MO, right? They're a royalty company.
They are a royalty. They are the Rolls-Royce of royalty companies, yes.
Yeah, so they bought your royalty, so there's no dilution.
Yep, no.
You've got enough money now. So this money, and we're going to talk about the property in a minute, but this money's going to get you to a point.
That's their MO as well. They like to give you enough money to achieve a major milestone. And so with us, they wanted us to complete this pre-feasibility study. And so we had to prove to them, and through budgets and our work, that we can take $8 million and complete a pre-feasibility study with it. And so that's what we're starting now.
Okay, so let's talk about this property in Brazil. This is your flagship property.
Yeah.
And it's very close to surface.
It is. It's called Castelo dos Sonhos, or Castle of Dreams is the English translation. It's a conglomerate-hosted ore body, which outcrops with a conglomerate breaking surface over about 19 kilometers. So it's very easy.
And so how deep would you, now you've obviously drilled this, and you say there's no sulfides.
There's no sulfides at all. I haven't seen a grain of sulfide on site. It's literally coarse sand grains, quartz cobbles, and gold grains. And we drill 120-meter deep holes. That's it. We're just scratching the surface on this now. So we're taking the low-hanging, high-margin fruit. And
this is obviously developed over billions of years.
Absolutely, yeah. This is an ancient paleoplacer. It's like what you see the guys on TV in Alaska sort of running around digging up with diggers. But this thing formed 2 billion years ago and was being buried, and it's now it's rock hard, but it's still the same thing. It's still sand and gold.
So metallurgy isn't an issue here.
No, we get 98% recovery in all of our tests. So,
is that right?
Yeah, 98, and so do the analogous deposits. So we have no doubts about that scaling up to commercial recovery.
So without sounding trite, it's not about when. It's not about if. It's about when.
Yeah, no. I think with our PEA we published last year and the scale of the resources now, this one is over that hurdle of if it'll be a mine. It will be a mine. I mean,
and the fact that Royal Gold has given you
a stamp of approval, yeah. because they don't want. They only make money when it's in production.
That's right. They're just taking their 1.5% off the top
when it's a mine. So
right.
They believe it's going to happen.
So the price of gold is acting right.
Yep.
So what would keep you up at night? A collapse in the price of gold? And just before we get into that, your all-in cost that you've sort of figured out here.
We published that in the PA of all-in sustaining of just under $700 an ounce. So it's very low cost. And again, it's because it's shallow open pits, simple open pit mining, and a very simple
there's
process.
there's mining in the area. There's a lot of mining in the area.
Para State is a major mining jurisdiction. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And what's nice also is we're very close to infrastructure. That's another big aspect of this. Is we've got a highway going past. We're already on grid power. So it's.
So is a lot of your costs tied to the currency in Brazil?
Yes, there's a fairly large percentage of that. And what we found is if we get Brazilian engineering companies to us, they'll guide us a lot better. It's like, well, if you use these trucks that are imported and made in wherever, they're going to be very expensive. If you go slightly smaller and use this truck, it's made in Brazil, it's a lot cheaper. So you get guided on using the right equipment that's made in Brazil and not imported and doesn't, and is very, very efficient.
I haven't really been following the Brazilian currency, but I mean, in Brazilian terms, gold must be pretty.
Yeah, it's around 4 to 1 right now, or very close to 3.9. So it's very good now, and that so that allows us to operate. A lot of our in-country costs are very nice right now.
Now, tell me about some of your existing shareholders. You've got some big ones?
Yeah, absolutely. Our biggest shareholder is US Global, which is Frank Holmes out of San Antonio.
Frank Holmes is legendary.
Yep. Second biggest is Gold 2000 out of Zurich. And again, they are 9.9%. Their mandate doesn't allow them to go through 10, so they've got as much as they can get.
Right.
I think number 3, as far as the funds, is RBC here in Toronto. So, we've got really good institutional shareholders.
Right.
And I think just as importantly, from shareholder base, is that management and friends and family, we have over 25% as well. I think directly management, we have 15%, with extend it to sort of friends and family.
Stock right now is around 20 cents?
Absolutely, yeah, right around 20 cents.
I think, is there about 100, how many shares outstanding?
178 million outstanding right now.
So you're capped around 30, 40, 30, 35?
Yeah, just over $30 million right now.
Fully diluted, there's another 40 or 50 million?
Another 35 million, yeah.
Okay.
So it's around 215, 220 fully diluted.
So what's your sort of target for production on this? Like, I mean, you're obviously doing all this because you believe this is going to be a producing mine.
Yeah, so I took over the company about 3 years ago, and when our due diligence, our mandate to come in and do a management takeover was identifying a project that had the potential to produce 200,000 ounces a year for 10 years. That's still what we'd like to get this project to. Our PEA last year on a small portion of it produced 130,000 ounces a year. And so we'd now like to scale that up to get closer to our ultimate goal of 200,000 ounces a year is where we'd like it to be. But we've got the study showing we can do 130,000 ounces a year, and we've only drilled 50-60% of the deposit, so there's a lot to go.
Yeah, and this 19 kilometers, I mean, does it look like to be entirely mineralized?
Oh, absolutely. It's all covered by, most of it has got informal mining, working, scratching along surface. Most of it's got, nearly all of it has got a gold soil anomaly on it.
There's a nice picture there.
So we can see the green there is the soil anomaly where there's gold in the soil and that. So yeah, there's very good signs there's gold in all of it.
Right. And so if everything goes according to plan, you should be producing gold in a couple of years?
Yeah, I think we'll finish the pre-fees next year. Probably it'll take another year or so to update that to a full fees, and then another year after that to permit it and then build it. So probably 5 years from now, I think we'd be in production.
And
at a good scale.
At a good scale, and oh geez, my age is showing here. Well, look, it looks like you're sitting there, you're ready to go. It's you've got backing of the Cadillac of the royalty companies. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we've had a history of obviously, like all of us, working in this mining industry a long time, and my analogy to the time we're in now is when we were in the early 2000s, a really tough time. I was at International Minerals, and that company survived and grew and strengthened its assets through that hard time. And I feel we've done the same with Tristar now. And that just positions us really well. If we're coming into a better time, a $1,500 gold price and some money coming into the market, we're really well positioned now, because we'll have a great news flow, we'll have great growth in the project, moving forward towards production, a lot of interest from maybe other people who want to get that production. So we've done a lot of hard work through a tough time. Tough time to raise money to do the work, but we've done that, and we've de-risked the project and grown it by a factor of 10 nearly.
Yeah.
And I think we're really well positioned to reap the benefit here.
It sounds like you're going to be producing gold.
Yeah, no,
and,
absolutely.
And your costs, because of the way the deposits at surface and the metallurgy is right.
Yeah. And we've got the infrastructure. That's a big deal because, Brazil is. Everyone forgets how big it is. It's as big as the US.
Yeah, no, I know.
And you can be a long way from a power line sometimes, or a long way from a road. And we're not. We're right. We've got a sealed highway going by us. We got high tension power lines with power in them going by us. So that really helps. That. And the other thing that is very critical, I think, is that it's been pastoral country, cattle grazing country, which has deforested it, which has impacted the environment. So you're not dealing with a virgin environment either. So, which is nothing, no one ever wants to damage a beautiful, pristine environment.
Sure.
It's this farming country.
So there's a lot of people living in the area?
There's a village about 20 kilometres away of about 10,000 people.
Okay.
And they're all primary industry people. They're farmers, loggers, miners.
Yeah. So when you fly into Brazil, how far are you away?
When I fly from North America, I get down to Sao Paulo. Travel time, I'm about halfway there. So you got another couple of commercial flights to get back up to Sinop, which is the closest airport to the project. Then you've either got a 7-hour drive, or you've got it's sort of sealed highways, but it's still 7 hours, or you've got a 45, 50-minute flight in a little Cessna. We got a runway on site.
You indicated earlier that you drill down about 150 meters?
Yeah, generally 120 is what we count out.
Is there any reason to believe that it continues?
Absolutely. This is a bowl, so it just we're just where it hits the surface is where we're drilling it now.
Okay.
It keeps going.
Okay. Nick, thanks so much. Really found this very informative, and thanks again.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
So the price of gold has now taken a bit of a clobbering thanks to the artificial action in the S&P. Trump announces tariffs delayed, and the S&P just goes berserk. How phony is that?
Well, look, and no matter what trend you're in, there's always corrections within a correction.
Yeah, and fraud and manipulation.
Well,
because these are the free and fair markets we find ourselves in. Do I sound cynical to you?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, so gold, actually the candle on the gold.
Yes.
Just take a look here. Let's just take a look. This is on the ETF, but you see where it plunged after and it got all the way down to between 139 and 140, closer to 139, so it's already recovered almost $20 from the bottom. I don't know if that candle. I think we're gonna probably back and forth for a while. I don't see gold continuing without some kind of little correction, and we saw some of it today. But the trend is up. The trend is up.
Yeah, just a quick hello to some of our people in the audience, just because that's what we do. Jason Garza, hello, Jason, Mr. Lou 1990. Boy, I haven't seen you for a while. He says he just bought fire at the open at $1.35. Bob Daku, Bob Daku, is that like haiku? No. Bob Daku, 2385 actually. Anyways, Bob, don't know what you're talking about there. You're probably talking to somebody a little further up in the conversation, but hello. Compound interest stock guy, 3-month trade on Trulieve right now is a gem in my opinion. Very little downside. Oh, thank you for that, compound interest stock guy. Simon Cleary says, hi, Nika Domi. Nika, did you hear that? Simon saying hello. Say hello back. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. One of us is actually Nika.
Hi, Nika.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Faye Smith is here, as per usual. She's always here. That's always great to see. Very limited conversation today among just a handful of people. Oh, Nika is here. Oh, she's talking to people in the audience, as per usual, I was looking at this, the timeline of the Trump's comments when he decides to delay tariffs rising. 4 hours ago, and 3 hours ago the stock goes wild, or almost like the timing was like this much. Always makes me.
You think, so I bumped into a guy today, and he thought that maybe Trump was, say, loading his account, or getting ready for a big short move. So then he'd say something bad, the market goes down and he covers. But I don't think that they're watching what he's doing, right?
Well, they watch him, but what can they do? He's the
but
president.
he's sitting there going.
Exactly.
He's trading the hell out of
Jeffrey Epstein, would you buy me another 200,000 shares of Apple just before I make this announcement, please? And you might want to grab some yourself there, son. Go ahead.
What do you mean you're not talking?
That's a horrible Trump accent. I'm not even going to try right now. Trump accent. Let's hear your Trump imitation. That's pretty good, Ed.
I don't.
That's pretty good.
Okay, what's a word that he says that he's...
Terrible people. They're terrible people. Horrible people. They're wonderful people. Terrible people, wonderful people. He never uses words like talented, skilled, erudite. He's horrible or wonderful. You're either horrible or you're wonderful. And today you might be wonderful, and tomorrow you could be horrible, and back to wonderful the next day. Okay. The New York Times published an article that essentially is pointing out that there are ads pitching CBD as a cure-all everywhere, and that oversight hasn't kept up. Now,
what do you mean oversight hasn't kept up?
Well, there's nobody basically regulating the CBD industry in the United States. There's nobody verifying that the CBD content of products being sold as, having certain concentrations of CBD isolates, THC, terpenes, flavonoids, or even if they're whole plant extracts, there's really nobody who is...
Remember about 2-3 weeks ago, somebody said that your marketing effort online was saying things like the FDA came out and said. Who was it?
Cureleaf. Cureleaf was forced to... No, it's...
Oh, on the palm.
No, it's the other side.
Well, that hurts too much.
Especially if you got a ring on. Here, I'll do it for you.
Okay.
Take that, misleading advertiser.
But so they got sort of slapped. Called on the carpet a bit.
They got bitch slapped.
And they said, we're going to look into this. We're going to make it necessary. So I think some people, but you're right. It's being touted as a panacea for everything, right?
Well, have you tried it? Like CBD isolate on its own?
No.
I'm not going to call it a panacea for everything, but it certainly cures heartburn, hangovers, headaches, muscle pain, indigestion, insomnia, ADD. I mean, these. I'm talking to you from my personal experience here, because I have all those conditions on a regular basis, unless I do like half a jug of CBD every morning. So from where I sit, it is a cure-all. Anyways, the article that I'm talking about leads with a story about a young man who contacted their department complaining of a heart-pounding hallucinogenic high. And now...
Really?
Yeah. And he didn't want to have these effects. And there was a team there published a study about mysterious ingredients in vaping liquids, and that's how the man, according to this doctor, told about his experience. So, wait a sec. The article is about CBD being pitched as a cure-all, and that's oversight hasn't kept up. And the story is about a guy who seems to have been having some bad side effects from a vape experience with some negative ingredients, some toxic ingredients. So how does that correlate into a criticism of the idea of CBD as a panacea? This is the interesting thing to me, is that throughout the mainstream media, there remains a clear bias in reporting towards the negative implications of cannabis in society, as opposed to a proliferation in the mainstream of positive influences of cannabis back in the legal state. And it's like all the positive sort of coverage is reserved for fringe, tier 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 publications like our own.
In other words, you come here to get the truth.
Well, that's just it.
Pravda.
Increasingly, the truth is a hard thing to find, especially amongst those tasked with its delivery.
With fake news again. Here we go.
I would never want to connote the New York Times as fake news.
No.
Because, I mean, I think of all of the news institutions on the planet, probably the New York Times has at least the highest perceived degree of integrity, if not the absolute highest degree of integrity. I've found their reporting to be interesting because they actually do present both sides of the story from different writers who are clearly writing from different perspectives, and that should be your first hallmark of a publication that is absent bias. So when you see this in the publication called the New York Times, I attribute this bias to the writer, not to the publication. I applaud the publication for presenting a bias that might not be popular with my side of the fence, which to me is the hallmark of a unbiased publication, presenting both sides of the story, giving everybody a voice who can articulate an argument cogently for one side or the other. Is that not the essence of a real publication? Speechless, eh? You got nothing to know.
You know what? Rarely am I this speechless, but I'm really speechless.
Well, I appreciate your speechlessness, Ed. I feel like I've somehow said something decent.
Yeah. There's nothing to add to that.
Nothing to add to that mess.
That oration.
No. Let's see. The biggest changes in stock prices today. Truly up $1.05. Now, this is nominal dollars. I'm not talking percentage values.
No, yeah. Well, I think percentages are more important, don't you?
Well, they are, but if I start with the dollar list, then at least I eliminate all of the flotsam and jetsam, the penny stocks trading, where a 4-cent stock goes up a penny. It's like, oh my God, it's up 25%. It's like, wow, now it's gone from 4 cents to 5 cents. Woohoo! Party time.
I think this looks like the beginning of a move.
Ooh, did you rub your belly?
I can't. Here, I can show everybody.
I saw your belly's hanging out there.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. So you said you're going to dress up just so you can get a better look at your belly, eh? Well, that's interesting.
Okay.
I
want to put up the S&P with a little more detail because I think the S&P...
You do that.
I saw something.
You do that.
And I'm wondering if other technical people would...
agree?
Either...
Jump down your throat?
This is just an observation, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to take me, my usual 8 minutes to get the chart up.
Okay, well, you're doing that. I wanted to just give a quick shout out to our Cannabis Daily News assembled by Alex Roberts here. If you go to the front page of MidasLetter.com, there's this Cannabis Daily thing right here. Click on that. That's all the news of the day that matters in our collective opinion. We tend not to report the ultra penny stock stuff because it has like a higher propensity to be FOS, if we call it. You know what FOS is?
Full of shit.
Full of shit news.
Full of shit.
It sounds a little fawsy to me. But
okay.
So go there anytime, and you can even sign up and get this delivered to your inbox every day as a special feature. And wow, that's all I have to say. Wow. What do you got to say for yourself, Ed? We got that picture of the S&P 500 up there?
This is a very short-term chart, but it illustrates a couple things. We've had a couple of bottoms here back on the, looks like the 6th and the 7th of this month, which was just last week, and it held. Then we broke that level here, and we had a nice rally. And so here we are. We got a level there. I'm not drawing this extremely accurately, but... And if you look at this, you say, okay, if it gets through that pink line I've drawn here, which is just an arbitrary line, we're probably going to make an assault here back up into this level. But so far, we haven't done that. Now, wait a minute. I'm just going to look at something. Just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I want to get another chart up here.
Oh.
So the point I'm getting at is if we can't get through that pink line, we're going to go back and test this down here. And if that fails, we're continuing on the downtrend.
What level is that?
Let me just... that's real dandy. Going to put the chart back up here. Yeah. Okay. It looks like I botched that little...
You're logged out. You accidentally logged yourself out there, Ed.
Really?
The Aurora Cannabis, you notice it sold off a bit today. The stocks looks overvalued according to an analyst in New York. But to talk about that, we're going to have Cam Batley is going to be here on Friday. We're going to talk to him a little bit about what is going on. They came out with great guidance, and an analyst comes out and says it's overvalued. That was the analyst at Piper Jaffray, and is initially launching a neutral rating. He says Aurora has a premium valuation relative to peers, but less visibility on these key growth opportunities.
Right.
He was referring to Canada, the European Union, the US CBD and US THC markets. Now, the interesting thing to me is that all of the institutions in the United States are focused on the US, which, until there is, US federal deprohibition, remains a segregated market. It's like 50 tiny countries, except with a couple of big ones. So call it 48, let's say 43 small countries, 7 larger ones. Reporting, with none of them able to trade with each other cross-border. So essentially, it's a basket case economy, isolated in every way, shape, or form. Yet the American analysts like to focus on that as the only, market that matters, economy that matters. Meanwhile, Europe is coming on strong.
Yeah.
Europe,
Funny how it's coming on strong while the banking system is
falling to pieces around its ears. Well, that's interesting. So if Deutsche Bank were to need a bailout, and be bailed out by the German government, would that have an effect on the European Central Bank?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know.
Well, good.
It's all connected. It's all connected. I mean,
It's all connected.
because
the knee bone's connected to the hip bone, and the hip bone's connected to the
chest
funny
bone.
Chest bone? Chest bone.
to the bone, just to the bone, to the
Chest
bone,
bone.
to the bone.
Boy, that's a big stretch. Your hip bone's connected to the chest bone. Boy, that's like, no wonder you take such big steps.
I'm curious. I got that S&P chart back up, and maybe okay, but just quickly.
All right.
Here we go. Look at this. Come on, don't film me now.
It's not
look at
cooperating.
this. Okay, so we got this big wick here. Okay, as we tried to get through that level, we can't. I want to see if this rolls over and comes back to test this area, and if it fails, then we're going to resume to the downside. On the other hand, if we break through here today or tomorrow, we're probably going to go back up and test this high range. So what have I said?
Big Wick. Big Wick. And tomorrow, here will be Big Dick coming in for an interview. That's Big Richard Goldstein. We're going to try to get him in for a talk about Cantabs, rather, which had a very positive day last week, at the end of the week, or yesterday.
Right.
Or the day before. Who knows? CanTrust. What's happening with CanTrust today? Let's take a look at CanTrust.
Hey, they came out and they talked about the inventory that's already there. And they say they don't know what's going to happen to that inventory.
I can tell you what's going to happen.
It's going to go up in smoke, isn't it?
It's literally going to go up in smoke, and nobody is going to get to smoke it. Nobody's going to have their lips wrapped around that when it
So
goes
that's
up
going to
in
cause
smoke.
a little bit of a bump in, a little dent in inventory still? Like, is that going to...
Well, is in terms of projected national inventory, absolutely. But in terms of their inventory, it's not relevant because they're about to have their licenses pulled and the company's about to go tits up. Guaranteed, no ifs, ands, or buts. I'd lay money on it. Anybody want to bet? Call me, shoot me an email. CanTrust is now at $2.96, down a paltry 8 cents. So I don't know what it is around this company. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of naivety.
That crazy move Friday didn't make sense.
Well, actually, glad you reminded me of that. So Alan Brockstein, who I tried to get to participate today in an interview, he put out a piece showing that let's see if I can find it because it was intriguing. He said that the irresponsible rebalancing of portfolios in the ETFs among ETFs was responsible for the whole shenanigans.
See, that would be something I would have no knowledge of. But you're right. That if they get thrown into an index, they got to buy it, right?
Yeah, and when things change for the sector generally, that causes them to have to rebalance their portfolio, they do so abruptly.
As we
And-
saw, I mean, that was an unbelievable move on Friday. I thought it was a rumor of a takeover.
Yeah. No, it was really interesting. But anyways, Alan could participate today. He's a little bit under the weather, but I thought that was an interesting argument, and he actually showed that on this one
Makes sense.
ETF's website. It showed them actually lightening up by quite a big position, which not only explained Oxley's sudden plunge, but explained the inexplicable jump in the stock price of CanTrust at the end of the day on Friday, which is it's intriguing.
I think the viewers should be aware that Tilray's results are out this afternoon.
Are they out now?
Well, they're out after 4, and the stock is up over $3.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that's about 7%.
So what was the analyst guidance ahead of the?
A good question. Good question.
Let's see. Well, let's take a quick
Yeah,
look around.
and I'll. We got Kronos going by up $1. That's about 5.5%.
Analyst reserve. Blah, 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 blah.
Everything is.
Okay. Well, so let's see.
I think the revenues.
There's the largest sentiment is hold. The second largest sentiment is buy. And
What are they calling for revenue?
well, let's see. I don't have that 12-month price target range. Is let's see, between consensus is 53.50. So that's assuming they hit their numbers, and low end is 42.46. So
Okay.
what's it trading at right now?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
All right, you do that.
Oh, survey says 45, almost $46.
Okay. So it's trading above its 12-month target price consensus, which suggests that the expectation is for earnings to have been met or exceeded.
Yeah. Now, here we are, viewers. If we break this number here on volume, which is somewhere around $50, if we break that number.
Could be game on.
Well, it looks like that's a great looking candle today.
Yeah.
This thing was just under $40 2 weeks ago. It's now almost 46. So that looks like a bit of a bull. I think a bull's head with a couple of horns there. I think, in a way, I'm suggesting a bullish outcome.
Right. Right. Interestingly enough, we look at this on the NASDAQ site, and we were looking at it. You'll see that in here, the trend is for analysts are not to be very good at estimating what the earnings are going to be. So typically, June 18th, the consensus was call it 8 cents, judging by that, and they came out and announced reported earnings of a 15-cent loss. So they predicted a loss of 8 cents. They delivered a loss of 15 cents in June 2018. September 2018, they overshot. The analysts predicted a loss of 25 cents until Ray came back and reported a loss of only 20 cents. Then in December 2018, the analysts undershot again and predicted a loss of 15 cents until Ray came out and reported a loss of 30 cents a share. So interesting, but their entire year anticipation is a loss of 87 cents per share.
Really?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. That's in like 10 minutes.
Well, the market will be gone, but I mean, look at.
Yeah, that'll be one of our prime topics of conversation tomorrow. We'll talk about Tilray earnings. We'll try to get Brendan Kennedy in here. If not him, then preferably somebody else.
That's a good question, actually. Can you buy the pot from the company?
Well, actually,
If it's grown illegally.
Read that out loud here.
Okay, I guess in Canada, I guess that's what the CA stands for,
Yes.
or California.
Canada.
Can someone buy the assets of a company that had licenses pulled and apply those assets under their own license? Does CA have a policy for this kind of
Violation.
violation?
Yeah, I can tell you that that the option for CanTrust, the only option according to Health Canada regulations, is to terminate the license on the assets upon a change of control over them. So if they sell the assets to a new entity, then the licenses are automatically terminated, and the new entity must then apply for licenses that would constitute new licenses. So they couldn't actually just buy the thing and fold them in under existing licenses unless they hadn't made use of their 3-location maximum that I think is still the case for LPs in Canada, but they'd have to apply for new licensing. And especially since those properties were the subject of a violation, they would be obviously subject to quite a thorough scrutiny. Mind you, I would think that Health Canada, now having been to those locations several times, is probably well versed on what they actually look like, and so it might be a pretty quick process.
Well, why wouldn't, like, if you wanted to be a little sneaky here, why wouldn't you say, go in there, take some weeds, substitute the weeds for the real weed, and then take that weed and sell it to like a dealer. It's problem solved. Anyway, I'm just mad.
Okay, that's what I wonder if anybody brought that up at a board meeting.
Well, you're probably thinking, well, maybe we should just, because no one's going to smoke it anyway, so let's make this.
Actually, given the decision-making process that obviously goes on at the top of CanTrust, I wouldn't be surprised if that was tabled as a viable idea.
Question. Is Health Canada have someone there posted all the time? Because how in hell do they know they're not going in there doing a bait and switch? Like
putting in dandelions and taking out cannabis.
Yeah, and then doing one big deal with.
Well, you got to wonder, like, is now CanTrust management barred from their own premises because?
Why? It's their premises.
Yeah, but they're in violation of Health Canada rules, which would suggest that their person in charge, their CPIC, cannabis person in charge, is no longer qualified to be in charge. So who's in charge? I bet you those plants are just growing wild in there. Nobody can get in there because the rules are all screwed up. We should drive by and check it out. Actually, that's what we're going to do. Tomorrow morning, instead of showing up here, let's drive down to Niagara. Let's fly a drone around their operation and see what we can see. How about that for fun? Now that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Ooh, I'm going to do that.
Have you flown your drone?
I've flown my drone, actually, while I was taking a bit of a break with my family on the Oregon coast. I flew my drone over a pod of whales and actually caught some great shots of them in video.
Did you? You should have had a tape on the drone.
Well, you know what? I can actually pull that up now.
With whale sounds.
Pulled up a tape with whale sounds. Well, actually, no, they were. I wasn't going to get close to the whales like a bunch of stupid whale watchers who basically fall all over them, because the whales, they're not into that kind of bullshit.
Now, would Waylon Jennings be a good guy to have on this one?
Waylon Jennings?
Where get it, Waylon?
That's a good one.
You're Ted Knight.
Let's see. So here's my drone footage. I'm going to try and find the image of the whale. Let's see if I can fast forward.
Now it's
here quick. There it is. There I am, zooming in on it. Look, there's the whale. I'm coming closer. Oh! And then I had to switch to the next image because I thought, okay, I don't want to try to find that. Okay. Here it is again.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Let's see, I'm going to zoom in on the whales. Oh, there he is. This is my drone footage. This is a gray whale off the coast of Oregon.
That's not a pod of whales, though, like you.
Well, there is actually a pod of whales. They're just not closely packed together. But this whale had the good manners to give me a little look into the camera, a little spray. And then he comes up here and he gives me a right proper eyeball, which I was really grateful for.
Come on.
Watch this. Watch this. Here he comes. Look at, he turns, gives me a look like, hey, how you doing, Jimmy? Bring me some of that cannabis oil, will you? And rub it right here on my barnacle back.
Instead of a whale pod, you'd have pot whale.
There we go. Yeah, so that's my little whale.
How big was that whale?
How big was that whale?
That wasn't a little minnow that you made look like a whale.
No, it was a big whale. How come you're not showing my whale? There he is. There he is again. You're missing my whale. What the hell's going on? There he goes, heading down, heading into the briny deep.
Not a care in the world.
Not a care
That
in the
doesn't
world.
even know what's going on in Washington.
Look, so I tried to swoop in and catch another shot, and where is he?
There.
I don't know.
There
Seems to be gone.
There,
I'm gonna try to
matey.
speed up. Where did I get him again? Oh, there he is. Close up of the whales. Coming to the surface. Boom. There he goes. Off camera. A little segue into my whale making videos while we talk about the demise of CanTrust. I wonder what's really going to happen to like Eric Paul and Peter Aceto. Like, I really think that those guys must be shitting their pants.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like bad for them, but like, what were they thinking, kind of thing?
Well, you just wonder if someone was making decisions without telling them what they were doing. I mean,
And they're taking the hit for some junior employee? I doubt it.
well,
I doubt it.
Has there been any
There hasn't been any arrests.
arrests?
And I think
violence?
that's where the stock goes the rest of the way to zero. Probably just before zero, before the exchange ceased trades it, is when there are arrests. And I think there are going to be arrests. At least some kind of, I don't know. That's bad. Bad news, bad karma, bad. It's all bad. Let's talk about cannabis companies that are doing great. Canopy Growth, up slightly today, up $1.23 last I saw. Canopy Rivers is coming to join us on Friday. Narbe Alexander is going to be here. What do you mean, no, they're not?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't
Actually,
say what Friday.
Narbe Alexander is not going to be on
didn't
Friday
say what-
because Cam Batley is going to be here, and I had to go have lunch with him afterwards. But Aurora is now recovered 13 cents up to 8.83.
Aurora's about the weakest performer in that big group today that I saw.
Oh, you think so?
Well,
do you?
look at weed up $1.60. That's
you
a,
say? Yeah, is that what Ed Milewski says? Let's take a look at the biggies. That's what we forgot to do today.
Take a look at the biggies.
Take a look at the biggies. Don't be messing around. Okay, so let's go look at the index page here for the large caps. And weed is actually, you're right. Aurora is the second worst performer of the index today, only up $1.49. But Organigram is actually the
1.49%,
worst
yeah,
performer,
yeah.
down 3 cents to 7.26.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Now, I thought Organigram would be $15 by now, and you know why I say that is because it's had this long, trudge across this range here, and it's time for them to get some recognition. I guess the financials is what we're waiting for there, but it's been on quite the sell-off since about, the 16th of July here, 17th of July. Touched a high of just over it touched a high of 906 and sold off to today's price touched a low of 712 today on 1.2 million shares. So what's this? The sort of the retracement ahead of the next big move forward.
I think these things are looking poised. Something's changed here.
Yeah.
And it's just not somebody saying that.
Well, August is coming to a close.
I know, but September is still a wacky. It's a lot of the bad. I actually think there's something that says August, September are worse than October.
August and September will be worse than October?
Or no, generally speaking, you know how there's like a swoon in this part of the year, and then it starts to build up towards Christmas.
Yeah. Typically, it starts to get solid after September.
Like October's always October's not a good month
Well,
either.
there's Black October. Black Mondays are always in October. I know. But that's just it. You get
We're
through
getting
October.
there. We're getting there. We're getting through the
there.
summer anyway.
Yeah. We'll see what
Did you
happens.
see where there's a big fire in Greece?
a big fire? Grease fire?
Like.
Did you set that up for me? Was that a freebie?
You set that up. You knew I was going to do that somehow.
I didn't know you were going to
said-
talk about Greece.
You did one of these things like on Star Wars where they go, and you, Ed, there's a grease fire.
I wish I could do that. Hey, this is my big dummy Ed
Wow.
over here.
Big dummy. Well, you're right about the big dummy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at.
Anyways, so yeah, you know what? I've been telling you to touch the bell on the upper right part of your screen. If you touch that bell, all you do is you see the notifications that you've set for yourself for the channels you're subscribed to. So no, that's not what you want to do. Down lower below the screen, there's a subscribe button. You hit that, and then you hit the bell to the right of the subscribe button. But you won't see the bell unless you hit the subscribe button. So if you want to see the bell, hit the subscribe button. Huh?
All right.
That's tricky. That's tricky. There's our show for today. We'll be back tomorrow with another one. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.